says that the Syrian army has a duty to protect the nation's borders from invasion and that the militias are not in the quality or capacity to resist the Turkish forces. Turkey has threatened major consequences if Syria dares resist the invasion, and that seems to have the government reluctant to get directly involved, at least for now. With Turkey having endorsed regime change long ago, Syria may ultimately decide to get involved, feeling there is little more Turkey can do to them than what they're already doing. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Missouri Governor Eric Greitens was indicted by a grand jury on a felony charge of invasion of privacy on Thursday. The indictment, filed by St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kimberly M. Gardner, accuses Greitens of transmitting a nude image of a woman he had an affair with in 2015, which he took without her consent. Greitens allegedly threatened to blackmail the woman by releasing the image of her taken while she was blindfolded with her hands bound, according to a conversation recorded by her ex-husband, also without her consent. Gardner said the grand jury found probable cause to believe Greitens violated a Missouri statute which categorizes the transmitting of an image in a manner that allows access to the image via a computer as a Class E felony, punishable by up to 4 years in prison. Greitens issued a written statement on Facebook denying the allegations and saying the charges were politically motivated. He wrote in the statement, "As I have said before, I made a personal mistake before I was governor. I did not commit a crime. As today's disappointing and misguided political decision, my confidence in our prosecutorial system is shaken but not broken. I know this will be righted soon." His attorney, Edward L. Dowd Jr., also said Greitens did not commit a crime. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the armed sheriff's deputy assigned to the Florida high school where 17 people were shot dead has resigned rather than face suspension after an internal investigation showed he failed to enter the school to confront the gunman during the attack, according to the county sheriffs. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel said Deputy Scott Peterson, who was on duty and in uniform as the resource officer posted to Stoneman Douglas High School, was the only law enforcement officer present on February 14th when the rampage started. Peterson's actions were caught on video during the massacre carried out by a lone gunman. Israel said, "What I saw was the deputy arrive at the west side of Building 12, take up a position, and he never went in," referring to the building on campus popularly known as the Freshman Building, where authorities said the bulk of the shooting occurred. Israel told reporters the shooting lasted about 6 minutes and that Peterson arrived at the Freshman Building within about 90 seconds after the first shots were fired, then lingered outside for at least 4 minutes. Asked what the deputy should have done, Israel responded, "Went in, addressed the killer, killed the killer." Peterson has not given a reason for why he did not enter the building. Israel said he would not release the video at this time and may never do so. Police officers arriving on the scene from adjacent Coral Springs thought the gunman was still inside as they searched the building based on a security camera video feed they mistakenly believed was showing them real-time images, but was actually footage from 20 minutes earlier. The Broward sheriff said crews, after slipping away from the school, casually spent more than an hour drifting through a Walmart store and visiting 2 fast food outlets before he was spotted and arrested. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Following this afternoon's arrest of Congress on the charge of over 23 million counts of manslaughter, our reporter spoke to Mark Westnick from Savannah, Georgia, just one of the many Americans that has lost a loved one due to the legislative branch's criminal negligence.
Because of Congress, my 23-year-old son died 2 years ago in Afghanistan. My nephew, he lost his leg in Iraq in 2006, and my brother died in Vietnam in 1969. Congress killed my family.
Defense attorneys for the now incarcerated 538-member group have dismissed the claims made by Westnick and other victims and released a statement saying their client has been, quote, a pillar of the national community for over 200 years and completely innocent of any and all wrongdoing. Keep checking theonion.com for more as this story develops.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you are welcome to join us on the radio. Take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. As you can hear, I am getting over whatever it was that I got on the way back from Mexico, or going through whatever it is that I got on the way back from Mexico. So I apologize for the voice quality here tonight. I don't know if I caught it on the airplane or what, just, at the convention, shaking people's hands, or just sitting in this airplane where, of course, all the air is being recycled for 5 hours. So who knows? But here I am. It's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
We're going to talk to you about whatever's on your mind here tonight. I do want to welcome, I've been meaning to do this for several days now. It's just we were in Mexico and then just put it off. Welcome to our newest affiliate, 7 nights per week, all 3 hours per night live, which is like the best kind of affiliate.
Yes.
Jet Radio, 1400 in Erie, Pennsylvania. Welcome aboard to our listeners on Jet Radio. If you've been listening for the last couple weeks that we've been on there, then you know by now that Free Talk Live is not your typical talk radio program. We're libertarians, first of all, like real libertarians.
Yes.
Principled libertarians.
Right. Now, there aren't many shows that even bother to call themselves libertarian in talk radio, but those that do tend to not really be very libertarian.
I think there's one guy on, mid-mornings that uses the L word. I wasn't going to name him.
Larry Elder is another one who claims libertarian as well.
Oh, right. I forgot that guy claims to be a libertarian.
These are like all fakes, right?
Not so much
No?
libertarians. Yeah, they're not really real libertarians.
They're conservatives.
They want to sound different. They want to sound like they are...
The first one that you mentioned, Glenn Beck, he's not met a conservative government program that he doesn't love, but he's a libertarian at heart. He also self-describes himself as a rodeo clown.
Yeah, conservatives in sheep's clothing. They're not real principled libertarians.
Yeah.
Then.
So it's an open phone show as well, which means we are open phones all the time. You can call in any day you want to comment on whatever issue is important to you. Otherwise, we bring up things that we think you're going to find interesting. And one of the things that happened while I was enjoying Acapulco, Mexico last week, which was already a week ago, by the way, that we were in Acapulco, doing Free Talk Live at the Anarchapulco event, which, by the way, I wrote an article over at freekeen.com today, basically pronouncing the new king of liberty kind of convention gathering things as Anarchapulco. It has displaced PorcFest in my mind as the must attend go-to event.
How much of that is because you're banned from attending PorcFest?
No, that absolutely was one minor factor. It's because PorcFest just isn't what it used to be. It's rebranded itself as a family event.
Right, and part of that rebranding involved them banning you.
Well, that wasn't, I don't know why they... Look, just because they banned me doesn't mean that they had to rebrand their event. Apparently what happened was after they banned Free Talk Live and banned Ian Freeman from PorcFest, then a bunch of people who used to go to that event stopped going.
Right.
So they used that as their opportunity to say, all right, well, we're just going to get rid of all the the people that want to have a good time, and we're just going to bring families in here exclusively.
Yeah, it's been going downhill. I mean, I've been going even after you were banned, and
this is what I hear from people, Darryl. People tell me it's.
I don't
just
think
not
it was.
the same
It's
event.
not you though. It's not like specifically
I don't think
that's making the
it's
event
me.
worse. It's the different. There's different factors. It's people running the show, and they're not doing that great of a job. Now, I will have to say though, not PorcFest, but last year was really terrible too with Liberty Forum, which is another event that's run by.
I heard that one did better this year.
Right.
It had about twice as many people.
I'm not yet willing to write it off.
But that's always been
going
kind
back.
of a stuffy hotel convention. I mean, to some extent.
Yeah.
Although there were years where Liberty Forum, you could smell marijuana wafting through the hallways of the hotel. Those were good years for Liberty Forum. I don't know if they do that anymore.
Well, I'd like to see it come back. I'd like to see it resurge because ultimately, I think the more people who show up to those events, the more People will be able to come and visit New Hampshire and meet and see what's going on in the liberty movement here and the migration and see that it's a success.
And the good news is, even if PorkFest is rebranded as a family event, which is fine, I don't think that's a bad thing. By all means, have a family event. But it's just, Acapulco is a better event. It's bigger. They've already eclipsed in 4 years the amount of people that PorkFest had at its maximum in 10 years. And so they're on track for what's expected to be maybe as many as 4,000 attendees coming up in 2019 because they sold out this year and they're having to move to a larger venue on the same property. So you want to check that out, go to freekeen.com. But for the people that do want to just have fun and don't have to worry about having a family or whatever, there is the Shirefest, which will be happening prior to the Porcupine Freedom Festival this year. Last year was very small, and I expect it will also be small this year. It's just basically libertarians camping at Rogers Campground, which is the same location as the Porcupine Freedom Festival, but it's also decentralized. So, you want to throw a party, then throw yourself a party. If you want to have, some sort of speechifying, then bring a PA system and have some speechifying.
And this year, there will simultaneous to Shirefest be Forkfest.
Yeah.
Where we're forking Shirefest. So for every Shirefest, you get a 1-to-1. You get one Forkfest.
I love it. And that kind of happened last year with all the different fests that people were having the same.
I was at the end of last year's event, and I don't know. I think you're underselling it. I thought it was
underselling what? Shirefest?
Yeah.
There was really nothing happening except for Ernie Hancock's
people
tent.
hanging out, and there were more people that showed up, but that was people that were showing up for PorkFest that just showed up early.
Yeah, there was the rave that Will Coley threw from the Call to Freedom.
That's probably a fair statement.
A couple nights prior to the end of Shirefest, and that was pretty great. And then Jim Babb threw a party the final night of Shirefest, which was also pretty great. So there were a couple.
Yeah,
of things
the last one that you're talking about is the one I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it'll all be what people decide to bring to the table. There's no central control. There's no central committee. Nobody's deciding on what's going to happen there. I don't even think anybody's really even figured out what the exact days of Shirefest are yet at this point. But I think it's typically like the 5 days prior to PorkFest.
I know that there's a thread on the forums, the Shire forums, where dates were mentioned, but there's no event made on like a Google Calendar or on Liberty.menu. I don't know what the hell the dates are.
I think it's usually like the 5 days. I mean, I can't say usually. It's only happened once, but I think last year it was like 5 days prior to PorkFest.
It was basically the weekend. Right, it's basically the weekend to weekend. So like,
who created the Facebook event last year?
I have no idea.
It's Friday to. I think it's like Friday to Sunday.
We'll figure it all
right?
out. We'll let you know. We don't need to figure it out on the air.
Yeah.
If you want to keep up to date with that, just go to forum.shiresociety.com. There is a Shirefest subforum there for such discussions. So anyway, what I was pointing out was that the big news item that happened while I was in Mexico, apparently another school shooting in Broward County, Florida, where some kid shot, 17 people to death, apparently?
Killed 17. I heard that there's at least one that's in critical condition, several others wounded. The FBI had been tipped off about this guy numerous times. Now, I know that there's a lot of
student?
He was a student. He had been expelled.
I see.
There were a lot of libertarians and, more conservative people. They're like, the FBI can't even catch a guy that they got a real name on, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. No, they can't.
Right. That just proves they're inefficient. That doesn't mean that the FBI needs to be doing more.
Sure.
So, like the people that are saying this are like, they should be doing more to stop this. And yeah, there were all kinds of warning signs that this could have been stopped any number of times, not just by the FBI, but by the local police that went to this guy's house like 20 times over the last couple of years.
I'm still trying to figure out how you're supposed to stop something before it happens. I mean, if you're going to stop something before it happens, I mean, that's thought crime.
Right, but making terroristic threats.
Did he make terroristic threats?
He said, "I want to be a school shooter."
Okay, well, I want to be a school shooter is not the same thing as saying I'm going to be a school shooter and shoot up the place. They're different things.
True.
Right?
It's a
there's a lot of things hold on. There's a lot of things I want to do, but I don't do them. That doesn't make me
but you don't post those things on YouTube and Facebook and all kinds of social media either.
I'm not on Facebook though. I mean, on other forums I do.
All right, we'll continue the discussion here in moments because the news is the government is going to be putting more armed deputies with rifles on the grounds of local schools.
Oh, like the guy that sat outside the building for 4.5 minutes?
Yeah, that guy. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and join us on the radio here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Don't worry. Your kids are safe at the government schools. They're going to just load them up with a bunch of armed deputies now. Like a prison.
Deputies that stay outside. They already have armed deputies.
No, they're going to have rifle-toting armed deputies. So they're going to have bigger guns.
They're going to be armed with something different, but still, the deputy that was on the campus.
But that was just one deputy. You're talking about the guy that didn't go in to shoot the guy?
He sat outside the building for at least 4 minutes, according to the sheriff.
Well, they're going to put more armed deputies on the campuses, according to the news. We'll tell you more about it coming up here in moments. Also, want to let you know about the Blink Home Security System. If you're not around, you want to keep an eye on your place or maybe your small office, the Blink Home Security System makes it super easy. You go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's FTL like Free Talk Live. You get 3 Blink cams for what some of the other guys might charge you for one of those wired cameras. The Blink Cam system is super easy to set up because it's wireless. You just unbox, you put the batteries in. The batteries are included, by the way. And then you get it all set up via your Wi-Fi-enabled device like a tablet or smartphone. Super easy to do. Just go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL like Free Talk Live. But let's go to the phones first, where we've got Tim on the line in, I think, Kentucky. Tim watching us on YouTube. Hey. Hello, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Jim.
Sorry, Jim, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering what you guys think of the idea of maximum wage.
Never heard of it. Tell me about it.
So there's 2 ways that you could propose this. The first one being, for example, with CEOs, you do it based off of the percentages of the employees, what they're making, so that the CEOs can't make, for example, they can't make more than 100 times what the lowest paid employee is making, something like that. The other way to propose this is just a cap at, say, $1 billion.
I'm opposed to that.
Hold on. So I've got a question, and I don't like the concept here because it implies that governments completely control everything and have a say over how much somebody makes. But I've got questions about how they actually calculate this thing. So you're saying one proposal is the CEO can't make more than 100 times what the lowest paid employee makes. Well, so does that mean if somebody is part-time and works 10 hours a week at $12 an hour, the CEO can't make more than 100 times 10 times 12?
That's what it would be. It would be per hour. But it's not 100. That was just a variable.
Yeah, so the reason why this is a bad idea is the same reason why the minimum wage is a bad idea, because it prohibits people from being able to enter into agreements voluntarily with other people. If I want to go,
it wouldn't even work anyway.
Well, not only that, but a lot of times
think we can't have a minimum.
Hold on.
You think we can't have a minimum wage when over 50% of the United States makes under $30,000 a year?
It won't work. People will just leave, and even if they didn't, you still have a problem of stocks and things. The stocks are worth something, and even many CEOs just take a dollar wage anyway.
Stock market.
A lot of people.
Of how the American public's doing.
A lot of people that advocate for, like CEOs make too much, and I will agree. I think some CEOs do make too much. But that's a completely different discussion. But people will look at, say, McDonald's. The CEO makes X dollars per year. If you actually calculate and say, all right, let's say the CEO makes $0, and then you divide all of that money that he made over the last year, and you distribute that to every employee that works for McDonald's, they would only wind up seeing like a 25 or 30 cent per hour increase, which is not a lot of money.
Nope. Tim?
I'm sorry?
Just wondering your thoughts on that.
Oh, I was thinking about the minimum wage still.
You're the one that called in about a maximum wage. I don't support there being government-induced either minimum or maximum wage.
Yeah, but you said the stock market.
I didn't mention the stock market.
So there's 3 people on the show here tonight.
When the minimum wage was raised negligibly, the stock market tanked, which shows that's not an accurate representation of how the American public is doing.
Well, no, I said stocks, like
you were talking about a benefit for the CEO.
Yeah. So CEOs and other executives, they more often than not, I believe, they get shares in the company as a bonus or a reward or whatever for because an actual wage, they actually get, I believe they get taxed more on their wages than they do on the shares until they get sold,
right.
and at what point
when
it's only
when they sell the shares, then it's a capital gain.
Right, and the capital gains is less than the wage, so therefore less tax.
So let's get back into the question here about a maximum wage. I didn't get your response, Tim. I'm just curious to, again, my point here was that the government setting a minimum or maximum wage is interfering in the marketplace, interfering in the individual's ability to make a deal for themselves, to enter into a contract, enter into an agreement with another person. People should be free to go into whatever agreements they want to, shouldn't they?
Yeah, but you don't think that when all that's available for, say, I don't know, a black woman who just came out of prison, okay? When all that's available for her is like a $5 an hour job, since there's no minimum wage, you don't think that itself is oppression?
But isn't that
what oppression?
Well, now, depending on what she was in prison for, it might be near impossible for her to find a job anyway.
Say it was marijuana charges. She had marijuana.
Well, I can tell you that wouldn't stop me from hiring somebody.
A bunch of jobs require you to pass a drug test, and you've got a criminal record. We're not going to hire you because you have a criminal record.
Well,
but a lot of the
marijuana is not an actual crime as far as there's no victim involved there. That would not stop me from hiring somebody.
I didn't say it would stop you, but a lot of because there are the boxes on most employment applications. Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
I understand.
That also often doesn't actually prevent you from being hired if you answer yes. It depends on the job. It depends on different factors.
Right. It makes it more difficult.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
Say we change the variable marijuana to heroin for methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Because then most employers wouldn't view that in the same sense as, a bit of pot.
The bigger problem with this is not so much, it's what the government does in relation to these, convictions that causes the problem, not so much, anything else. So I don't know, it doesn't. I mean, if you got rid of government, essentially you get rid of the problem, right?
Well, he's saying that he wants.
Are you proposing a social libertarian state such as the Confederación Nacional de Trabajo?
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Never mind.
So it sounds to me like you support the minimum wage because you're worried about some people having a difficult time getting a good job?
No, I support a living wage.
Oh, you support a living wage. So what is that?
It's the minimum amount needed to live off of.
And what is that?
I believe it's around $15 an hour.
$15 an hour. I think that's an interesting discussion. If you want to hang on, Tim, we can talk to you about it because a lot of people don't really understand economics and why when you increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour, which would roughly double, I think, what it is right now, 7-something, what kind of economic havoc that causes.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me.
Property, you
What
need
am I
to leave
being
now.
detained for?
You're being served.
What
There
is
you go.
this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free. Join us here. Our number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype as well. Skype username is lrn.fm. And I forgot to mention earlier, we've got a Discord chat in which you can join the on-air call-in line room and talk to us there. The Discord is available to you at discord.lrn.fm. Here tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
By the way, I do want to let you know about Zencash. They were over at Anarchapulco. It was great to see Zencash out there in real life. We got to talk to the lady who does the sort of the Latin America Zencash representation on the air. Zencash is one of the cryptocurrencies that's worth a look, worth a close look. In fact, Darryl, you were looking at the white paper the other night, and not only does it mention voluntarism, but you found something else that it mentions, right?
Secession.
They actually mention secession in the
Yes.
What's the context?
I don't remember the context.
Okay.
I just remember that it was in there.
I like it. There's a lot to like about Zencash. They've also got some of the best technology out there. Besides the people that understand voluntarism founding this thing, they also have zero-knowledge anonymity. So if you want to use Zencash for anonymous transactions, you can do that. They also have the decentralized autonomous organizations. They're working on rolling that out right now, as I understand it. Zencash is secure. They've got over 7,000 secure nodes, which makes Zencash one of the strongest blockchains in the world. They've got nearly 50 team members, up from their original 5. And while it's available in multiple languages, this truly is an international cryptocurrency. Check it out at zencash.com. Once again, that's zencash.com. As we go back to Tim in Kentucky. Tim, you all right there?
Coughing up a lung?
It sounds like it. I hope he's okay.
Are you going to be okay? Do you need mouth-to-mouth?
Well, you can't help him with that, Darryl. Anyway,
I know
we're
I
just gonna
can't.
come back on hold. Hopefully, he's going to be all right. Anyway, Tim had brought up the question of the minimum wage. Originally, he called it about a maximum wage,
right?
Restricting CEOs from making a certain amount of money based on a multiple of the lowest paid employee,
right?
And then he got in, and then I pointed out, well, my objection to these things, and as you pointed out, Darryl, it seems like some CEOs making a ridiculous amount of money for what they do. But ultimately, the way to solve these things is through the marketplace, through competition.
Right. And one of my biggest problems with some of the CEO, I don't want to say salaries, but the compensations is when they wind up getting these golden parachutes after tanking a company, and then they wind up getting $25 or $30 million as a compensation package. That's my biggest complaint.
The golden parachute, right.
I saw it happen numerous times when I worked for an airline, to where the company would just wind up, I go through a CEO every 6 to 9 months, and each one, every time they walked out the front door,
cha-ching,
these big, huge packages, and it's like, no wonder you had to file for bankruptcy 5 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the marketplace is going to take care of that. That company may go out of business as a result of...
they wound up getting purchased by Northwest, but convincing everybody that it was a merger.
I see.
Well, hey, fewer CEOs means less money going out the window if you merge them.
And then Tim brought up the question, or I mentioned, well, my objection is, just sort of on principle of... the government shouldn't be getting in between people's ability to negotiate an agreement with one another. And he brought up the sort of fear that, oh no, somebody's going to get out of jail and they're only going to be able to make $5 an hour.
Which is better than getting out of jail and being able to make $0 an hour because they can't get hired.
Yeah, that's true as well. And so then he said that he supported the... what they call a living wage.
Living wage, which currently is about $15 per hour.
According to him.
Right.
But that depends on where you are.
Right. And there's also that, Fight for 15 movement. And we saw that in Seattle, where they wound up doing this, what happened? You had people working at McDonald's and Wendy's and some of these, low wage places asking their bosses if they could have fewer hours because they're no longer getting benefits.
Right. So, Tim, are you back with us? You okay?
Yeah, if you look at, for example, the Walt family, you really think that they can't give their employees more benefits or anything?
The DeWalt family, that's like Power Tools, right?
The family that owns Walmart.
The Waltons.
Oh, the Waltons. Okay, gotcha.
Sorry.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how their business is run. I don't know what their margins are like. But if you don't want to work at Walmart, there are other places that you can go and get a job.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of people I know from Walmart, I'll tell you this, Tim,
we know people who work at Walmart.
Yeah, we know people who work at Walmart, and Conan used to work there, and he
said it was like one of the best jobs he had. He just wanted to work fewer hours.
I'll contest that. With back a few years ago, with not sure if you're familiar with the story, the butchers at Walmart, they in one particular Walmart branch, they tried to form a union. And when the Walmart Corporation heard that they were trying to form the union, they fired all of them.
That's what happens.
And then they closed the branch and fired every single butcher in their Walmart, in every Walmart. And now their food
in
comes
every
from,
Walmart.
It's their food. The butchery is no longer in any Walmart. It's mechanically produced.
This is exactly the kind of consequences you have by increasing it to a $15 minimum wage. If it's more cost effective as a result to automate things, that's what you're going to see happening, and that is what's happening.
So, Tim, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. If you don't like the way business is run, don't shop there. There's plenty of butchers. There's a local butcher here in Keene you can go to. You want to go find an individual person running a business for butchery, then that's something you can do.
It's been so long since I've been to a super Walmart, I forgot that some Walmarts had butchers.
Yeah, I never really went into that section of the super Walmart back in the day. But let's get back into the question of the living wage, the supposed living wage, and some of the consequences here, because I think that the people who are advocating for these things, they just don't even understand the consequences of what they're talking about, which is to say that if you raise the minimum wage from $7 and whatever to $15, then all you're doing is you're putting an extra burden on the companies that they have to pay more now for labor, which means that they need to likely raise prices as a result of that of their products at the market, which means they're less competitive with, let's say, their international competitors who don't have the same kind of minimum wage structures in place. They can pay less than that. As long as it's cheaper to ship the product internationally, then the products will be sourced internationally in that case, in which case some people might even get fired because if the price of labor goes up, if the price of labor doubles at any shop that's got minimum wage employees, that shop may just decide that, well, sorry guys, we're going to have to cut some of the squad here and give those of you who are left extra responsibilities.
So I saw something earlier, and I just pulled it up, and here's a partial transcript from a video of one of these Fight for 15 rallies where fast food workers, Lakeisha Jackson in this circumstance, was out protesting. Fox 2 reporter says, quote, some people are saying that even paramedics don't make $15 an hour and they save lives. Why should fast food workers get that? She responded, because we do too much. We do more than we get paid.
What?
That was her response to paramedics don't even get $15 an hour. Why should you?
The other thing that's really insulting, too, is let's say you're somebody who has worked at a fast food place. And you've worked your way up through the chain. You're in middle management, or you're, in a store manager kind of position.
Fast food managers probably don't make $15
That's what I'm
an
saying.
hour.
So you're at like $14.50, and now all of a sudden the government comes in and says, okay, everybody who's been getting paid $7 or $8 an hour at this fast food restaurant, you are now getting $15 an hour, which means that you, who worked for your career, basically, you've been there 20 years slaving away in a kitchen, you're making $13, $14 an hour as a manager.
Right.
Well, now you get the raise too, and you can be at $15 an hour, just like the newbie who started last week. How's that going to feel?
Everybody is going to. Here's what happens.
That's a slap in the face.
Yeah, everybody's wages end up going up, but the prices go up, so your wage actually has less of a benefit than you think.
Right. It's just magic.
Pay everybody $1 million an hour.
Why not?
And that solves everything, right?
That shows the absurdity of it. At least I would hope it would show the absurdity of it to somebody who is thinking about this issue. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free and join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype as well. Skype username is lrn.fm. Free Talk Live has an email list. You can go and get signed up for our emails, which we send usually about once a week to keep you in the loop with what's happening with Free Talk Live. The email list sign-up box is right there on the top of the website, or near to the top, sort of in the middle of the page, over at freetalklive.com. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
And Chris, you are a business owner.
I am.
You run a small business. It's an international business.
It is. So I can definitely speak about the different parts of the world with socialism and less socialism.
Yep.
And there's a huge difference in terms of cost and employees and how they are harmed by socialism.
Well, I mean, this is the minimum wage isn't socialism per se. It's just a stupid rule that breaks economics.
I don't know.
And well, I mean, socialism is there's a definition to it.
It seems like you're taking money from one person, which would be the business, and you're redistributing the wealth to another person, which would be an employee.
Yeah, but you're not even really doing a good job of that because you're just making it.
I know
so
it's not, but it's still. I don't know. It still seems to me very much like socialism.
It's tyrannical, but
socialism has more to do with the ownership of
Socialism would be state
business.
Control of.
But is it not state?
I mean, that is
the
state controlling the minimum wage. That much is true. But you mean straight up control of the full
to where
organization.
The state is the one handing out all of the paychecks.
I don't know. In my mind, socialism is the redistribution of wealth. So it doesn't really matter whether it's a corporation or it's welfare for individuals or what. It's any kind of redistribution of wealth. That's what it is in my mind.
Yeah. So you buying a burger, you're redistributing your wealth. Does that mean that you're
forced? I think he's talking about forced.
Yeah, government. Anything to do with government, forced.
I see where you're coming from there, but in this case, the wealth isn't really being redistributed in that it's just screwing up economics.
Okay,
basically.
so just because it's not achieving the objective, I don't necessarily know that discards the point that it's not socialism. Like, I mean, just because socialism doesn't work doesn't make it not socialism.
We'd have to pull up the definition of socialism. I think Darryl's correct on his technical definition that it has
he might be. Who
owns what.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying what I think of when I think of socialism.
A political and economic theory of social organization that advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned by and regulated by the community as a whole.
So it doesn't totally fit the definition of socialism, But I don't know. It still seems like it's the same
even on the
objective.
claim of wealth redistribution, you're not taking from the rich and giving to the poor with a minimum wage. You're just forcing employees to be paid more, which ultimately means that prices go up. And,
Right, and who owns the businesses? The rich.
So here's what one small business owner has to say about it. This, for our caller earlier, and for anybody else that feels like, well, people deserve to be paid more. For people that don't.
Yeah, I actually have a solution. Finish up what you're saying, but I have a solution to the whole if you feel like you're not making enough money problem.
Okay, we'll get to that here. Solution. So remember to come back to that. But for those that, you feel strongly about this, you feel like people should get paid more, because this is a very emotional issue. I would like to encourage you to put aside the emotion for a moment and start doing some research on this, because there's been a lot of studying of the minimum wage. It's not a new idea. So there's been a whole lot of people. Science has looked at this. People have done studies. They've looked at the results of employment after minimum wage increases, and they've seen that people lose jobs. They've seen specifically that low-wage workers, specifically teenagers, blacks, others who are sort of on the outskirts of low-wage work, tend to lose their positions after minimum wage increases. So if the idea was to help those people, well, you've actually caused the opposite of your intended results. And we'll get into an article that kind of touches on that here in a moment. But so go ahead with your solution.
Yeah. So, so part of the problem with why wages are so low in a lot of cases is because there's too much work in a given area, geographical area, and the prices in that area are too high, like rents and things. So what happens when you have that is you end up making less money, especially when you're at the you're at the lower wages. What I've seen and what's happened a lot of times in our communities, I've seen people move from different regions like New Jersey or California or Seattle to New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is not necessarily the cheapest place to live, but there's jobs here and the cost of living is significantly less.
Depends on where you're coming from.
Right. It depends on where you're coming from, but especially when we're talking about, very high tax, very socialist
it's going to be so the examples he gave of California, New Jersey.
You buy a house in New Hampshire compared to California, it's probably going to be cheaper.
Right. And this doesn't,
not necessarily true for like the woods of Kentucky or something.
And it doesn't
like that.
just apply. It doesn't necessarily just apply to people who are at the bottom. Even if you're at the top, the same thing can apply. I got a house in New Hampshire for around $200,000, but the same house in New Jersey where I was living would have been $350,000.
Yep.
I mean, you can just see right off the bat. Same thing with property taxes. Property taxes are lower here.
Even compared to New Jersey?
Where I was living, yeah.
Because they're not lower compared to Florida. They were 4 times lower in Florida.
They were still lower here in New Hampshire.
Wow.
But the point that I'm making is, and if you look at like things like rents and things like that, and these are comparing places that are very similar, roughly the same size, roughly the same distance from cities and things like that. So, you don't necessarily have to, move out to the middle of nowhere in order to get a better deal. You have to move. That's the thing.
So you're saying if you don't like it, leave.
Right. You got to move. And it's obviously it's harder to do for some people in small countries, but in the places like the United States or Europe,
there are many options.
You have options.
So let me sort of play devil's advocate here and say, what about the person that is living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to make their rent? You're saying, well, just move. How are they going to afford to move when they're barely covering their bills?
Nobody said it was going to be easy, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can't up your situation in society and life.
Some people can move just by selling all their stuff and getting on a Greyhound bus. I mean, if you really want to go somewhere, you can leave. I mean, obviously having a savings is a good plan if you're going to be moving, but we've seen people do it successfully without much of which to speak.
Yes, I know that it can be done.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people, you
might have to live out of your car or something like that. Or
right, and
whatever.
That's what I want somebody to say. Instead of just, make more money and move. Tell people that are living paycheck to paycheck how they're supposed to do this other than just do it.
Okay, so the pack of cigarettes that you keep smoking, and obviously
I've never
not everybody.
touched cigarettes a day in my life.
I understand, but you also, okay, I'm sure there's some habit that you have that you could probably spend a little bit less money on
Should cut out all those marathons, Darryl. That'll save you some money.
Yeah, that'll save you a bunch of money.
Nobody said moving is, especially when you don't have much, is going to be easy. But ultimately, there's people worse off than you. There's people who live on the streets. I mean, you can't tell me.
Okay, so people have it better than you. You should never be happy.
You can't tell me that you cannot find some money, even if it takes a while. Okay, even if you can't tell me that you can't find money somewhere. If you have a job, if you have a minimum wage job, that you can't save a little bit of money and eventually move.
Have you seen the statistics that come out every 6 months or so showing that the average American does not have $400 of savings?
That's not anybody else's fault. That's your own fault. It's bad money management.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Americans weren't taught how to manage money. Their parents didn't know. So if your parents don't know, they're not going to teach you, right? They're going to give you bad habits at the very least. And then the government schools, of course, don't teach you anything when in regards to money management. I remember when I went to government school, and I went to the gifted school in Florida where I grew up, and all they ever told us about was how to write a check. So it had absolutely nothing to do with explaining how credit cards work or how banking, works or anything or savings or, rates of interest or whatever. We didn't learn anything about that.
Yeah. You know what I would do, Darryl, if I was really that desperate and I was in that such a situation, you know what I would do is I would lose the apartment altogether, get myself a tent and camp out.
There are people who've done that, actually.
And then you get arrested for camping on public property.
You know what? Life has risks. Sometimes you have to take a risk. And
so then just live in jail.
No, there was that one guy. Wasn't he working at Google and living in his car?
Yeah.
Or sleeping in the office or something like that?
Yeah. He bought a truck for some ridiculously low amount of money, and it was probably less than a 1 month's worth of rent.
You get a gym membership, and you go take a shower at the gym so you're not stinking when you go to work.
Absolutely.
I knew a guy 20 plus years ago that he lived out of his van. Mostly out of necessity because he had child support, and after he paid his child support, he didn't have the money to pay for rent.
Right. I mean, ultimately, if all you're doing is going and sleeping in a place and you're paying $1,000 a month for the privilege of having, a warm place to sleep in, there are other options to that. That's definitely true. More coming up here in moments, and we'll get one business owner in his opinion about the minimum wage and what is going to happen if it goes up. It's Free Talk Live.
Does the current world crisis in North Korea or our domestic crisis right here in America concern you? Well, I know it concerns me. My friends over at Legacy Food Storage have solutions in the event there's the inevitable. What's the inevitable? Civil unrest, a run on your local grocery store. And here's my question to you. If this happens, how do you feed your children? How do you feed your grandchildren? Legacy Food Storage has the solutions. In fact, they can help you implement a simple plan to take care of your needs in the event of the inevitable. By calling them right now, I have authorized them to give you a special 20% discount at checkout by simply using GCN. Call 888-543-7345 or visit them at legacyfoodstorage.com. That's 888-543-7345 or visiting them at legacyfoodstorage.com. Make sure you use GCN at checkout for an incredible 20% discount. Don't be a victim. Take control of your life now.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire at the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, February 23rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $32, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,738. Antiwar.com reports the first pro-government militias arrived in Syria's Afrin district on Tuesday and immediately came under attack from the Turkish military. More arrived on Wednesday, and by Thursday, the first militias reached the front lines. The Kurdish YPG cheered the arrival of these reinforcements, but warned that they were insufficient, with Turkey throwing its military at them, pushing for Syria's army to get directly involved. YPG spokesman Nouri Mahmoud says that the Syrian army has a duty to protect the nation's borders from invasion, and that the militias are not in the quality or capacity to resist the Turkish forces. Turkey has threatened major consequences if Syria dares resist the invasion, and that seems to have the government reluctant to get directly involved, at least for now. With Turkey having endorsed regime change long ago, Syria may ultimately decide to get involved, feeling there is little more Turkey can do to them than what they're already doing. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Missouri Governor Eric Greitens was indicted by a grand jury on a felony charge of invasion of privacy on Thursday. The indictment, filed by St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kimberly M. Gardner, accuses Greitens of transmitting a nude image of a woman he had an affair with in 2015, which he took without her consent. Greitens allegedly threatened to blackmail the woman by releasing the image of her taken while she was blindfolded with her hands bound, according to a conversation recorded by her ex-husband, also without her consent. Gardner said the grand jury found probable cause to believe Greitens violated a Missouri statute which categorizes the transmitting of an image in a manner that allows access to the image via a computer as a Class E felony, punishable by up to 4 years in prison. Greitens issued a written statement on Facebook denying the allegations and saying the charges were politically motivated. He wrote in the statement, "As I have said before, I made a personal mistake before I was governor. I did not commit a crime. As today's disappointing and misguided political decision, my confidence in our prosecutorial system is shaken but not broken. I know this will be righted soon." His attorney, Edward L. Dowd Jr., also said Greitens did not commit a crime. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the armed sheriff's deputy assigned to the Florida high school where 17 people were shot dead has resigned rather than face suspension after an internal investigation showed he failed to enter the school to confront the gunman during the attack, according to the county sheriffs. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel said Deputy Scott Peterson, who was on duty and in uniform as the resource officer posted to Stoneman Douglas High School, was the only law enforcement officer present on February 14th when the rampage started. Peterson's actions were caught on video during the massacre carried out by a lone gunman. Israel said, "What I saw was the deputy arrive at the west side of Building 12, take up a position, and he never went in," referring to the building on campus popularly known as the Freshman Building, where authorities said the bulk of the shooting occurred. Israel told reporters the shooting lasted about 6 minutes and that Peterson arrived at the Freshman Building within about 90 seconds after the first shots were fired, then lingered outside for at least 4 minutes. Asked what the deputy should have done, Israel responded, "Went in, addressed the killer, killed the killer." Peterson has not given a reason for why he did not enter the building. Israel said he would not release the video at this time and may never do so. Police officers arriving on the scene from adjacent Coral Springs thought the gunman was still inside as they searched the building based on a security camera video feed they mistakenly believed was showing them real-time images, but was actually footage from 20 minutes earlier. The Broward sheriff said crews, after slipping away from the school, casually spent more than an hour drifting through a Walmart store and visiting 2 fast food outlets before he was spotted and arrested. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Hailing it as the industry's most innovative product to date, global cosmetics brand Maybelline released its long-awaited Ideal Woman Rubber Mask this week, a thick latex facial covering worn over the head in lieu of makeup.
By simply yanking it over your face, you can instantly achieve a fresh look that conforms to Western ideals of beauty. Essentially, you can just roll out of bed, stretch the latex urethane rubber beauty mask over your natural face, and boom, you're ready to start your day. Forget concealer, powder, blush, or mascara. Now you can achieve a look that adheres to the conventional standard of feminine perfection in seconds.
It's incredible. You immediately see the difference. The very first time I tried it on, my pores were minimized, my skin tone was more even, and all of the idiosyncratic little wrinkles, physical imperfections, and tiny irregularities that make my face unique were erased.
I don't spend a lot of time on makeup anyway, but now all I need to do is yank this thing over my head, and that's it. I'm conventionally attractive. I mean, this gives me so much more time to find an outfit that makes my body look thin and socially acceptable.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to join us on the radio. And you can bring up absolutely anything that you want here. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian. Oh, sorry, Chris, try that again.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
All right. So, of course, you can bring up what you want. That's the point here on Free Talk Live. We're going to go to your phone calls and your thoughts about anything that you want. And in the last hour, for those of you just tuning in, we were talking about the minimum wage, a very emotional issue, something that gets people riled up because they feel like folks who aren't making a lot of money, they should make more. I mean, who doesn't think that people need to be able to make enough money to sustain themselves? I mean, that makes sense. I can understand the emotions behind this, the way people feel on this issue. Unfortunately...
Well, and there's a difference between believing that, yes, people should be able to live off of the amount of money that they make, and believing some government entity should force employers to pay their employees a designated amount of money.
Indeed. And that's ultimately what the minimum wage does, is it forces people who, otherwise may not be able to afford to do these things to pay more than they otherwise might be able to. And that could possibly make it so the business has to then, raise prices or fire people or lower their product quality.
And, there's something that, and we talked about this last night and I think 2 nights ago as well, that statistics can wind up being screwed with to basically prove anything that somebody wants to prove. And whenever there's the debate about increasing minimum wage, there's one side that will throw out this number of somewhere around 50% of workers will benefit from an increase in the minimum wage, which leads people to think half of the workforce is making minimum wage. No, not at all. That 50% of people that will benefit from an increase includes all of the government employees that are union members whose salaries are tied to minimum wage. So when you wind up increasing minimum wage, you increase the salary of everybody that works for a union.
It's nice for those people.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually have some statistics here too on for my own business on what it,
which is thinkpenguin.com.
Yeah. Yeah, so we sell computers and electronics and accessories and all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Do your 2 employees have a union?
No. We have
Are they fighting for 15?
We have a bunch of people, but no. So but basically, actually, it's not so much about the employees, but what happens when you implement more socialism. Our cost to ship an order in the United States is 1/16 the cost, depending on the item, or set of items, but it's as much as once. Actually, it's even more than that, technically speaking. On some items, actually, some items we simply don't ship out of our UK warehouse because does not work financially.
Because of the VAT tax?
Not just because of the VAT tax, but because of the cost to ship something out of the UK is so extraordinarily expensive.
Okay.
16 times more expensive to ship something from our UK warehouse than our US warehouse.
My God.
Yes. There's certain things that we do not ship. Like, for example, if you order stickers from us, we won't ship from the UK warehouse because it costs so insanely much. And the people, the employees, I can assure you, do not own property in the UK that we're, paying. In the United States, they do own property. They can afford to own property. They can afford to have all these, they have health insurance. They have health insurance in the UK too, but there's a huge difference between the two in terms of disparity just because of how much farther your money goes in New Hampshire, which is significantly less taxes and costs of living than compared to the UK.
So, I mean, you use the term socialism sort of, I think, interchangeably with government, it seems like, because you could also have fascism, right? And fascism would also be problematic, would also increase costs, and would also, force businesses and people to do things against their wills. I think it's important to point out that it's the government it's the government mandates, whether they be socialist or fascist flavored or whatever their flavor happens to be, of the politicians who are instituting them. That's where these problems come from. Whenever the government gets in the way of business, there are unintended consequences every single time. Let's go to Dave. He's in Virginia, and then we'll share a piece from a small business owner, a pretty short one, from dailysignal.com on what's going to happen if the minimum wage gets raised. But Dave, you're in Virginia watching on our YouTube channel at cam.freetalklive.com. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I want to weigh in a little bit from a business owner perspective also.
Sure.
But before I do that, I wanted to give you an update. I talked to you guys about 2 months ago on asset forfeiture bill that was in the General Assembly in Virginia.
Okay.
That we got put in, and it ended up getting killed in the Senate yesterday. So we figured that would happen, but we tried anyway. But anyway, from a business owner's perspective, I have an air duct cleaning business, and we're one of the few that's hospital certified. So our guys are really highly trained, and we start our guys at $12 an hour, and we move them up pretty rapidly because we don't want the turnover. It costs us thousands of dollars a year for training
just to train somebody.
Yeah.
So you want to pay your employees well so they don't leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Right. A lot of the business owners complain about the taxes, but that's really not in our field because of the nature of the business. Our workman comp is ridiculous. And this year, at the end of 2017, because we spent more time training, we gave our guys bigger increases, we trained them in safety, we were rewarded by our workman comp insurance by getting a bill for $8,000 more than last year because our guys make more money and workman comp goes by your payroll.
What's your business?
It's an air duct cleaning business. It's called Ducts, D-U-C-T-Z.
Interesting.
Anyway, so basically we get a bill at the end of the year for $8,000 for more workman comp because we gave our guys raises and we trained them better and they're safer. So workman comp penalizes you for making your guys safer. And then last year in the General Assembly, our government had the wisdom of creating cyber security classes for college. And how they fund them is they tack a $2,500 charge on your workman comp. So now we pay $10,500 more than last year for our workman comp.
Jeez.
Where is this?
You said Virginia.
Virginia. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And so, the thing is, in our business, the taxes is bad enough. But when you add that kind of money onto, we were already paying $14,000 a year for workman comp. So
is that an employee?
That's for all of our employees together.
Okay, and how many employees do you have?
We have 5 techs.
Okay.
That's it. We have 5 techs and 2 office personnel. And that is really what's killing business in America, especially a service business.
And I think that's something what you're pointing out here is something that a lot of people don't realize winds up, also going into when you increase an employee's wage, there are all these other expenses that wind up going up. The amount of Social Security deductions, because the employer pays part, the employee pays part. You then have workman's comp. You've got all of these other things, the unemployment. You've got other kinds of things that wind up having to be done. And a lot of those are based on the wages.
Dave, was there more you wanted to share?
No, that was pretty much it. But it's just another perspective that people don't understand why. When
people don't know what it's like to run a business, they have no idea. And Dave, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate hearing from you. We'll hear from another business owner here in a moment. Your calls and thoughts also welcome. Free Talk Live.
Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username is LRN.FM. And we've got our Discord on-air call-in line, which you can jump in there over at discord.lrn.fm, and we'll talk to you about whatever's on your mind. We didn't intend to talk about the minimum wage tonight, but somebody called in about it, and it's an important issue that a lot of people really don't understand. The emotion wins the day on this particular issue. It's easy to be distracted from the economic realities of the minimum wage and the damage that it does. In fact, I've got another story here. We haven't even gotten to the piece from the small business owner, but there have been no end to the amount of studies that have been done on the minimum wage, and there's another one that has looked at higher minimum wage hurts teen employment and adult paychecks. We can tell you more about that coming up here in a little bit. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
Also, want to let you know about Bitcoin.com, which is the place to go if you are new to the world of cryptocurrency. You've heard about Bitcoin. You've heard that it's been crazy prices as high as $19,000 and so per Bitcoin, down to as low as $5,000 within just the last couple of months' time. It's now right at about $10,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. So it's back up. It's doing pretty good, I think. And there's a bright future for Bitcoin. It's very exciting. Bitcoin fees are even down these days as well. How long that'll remain the case remains to be seen. But if you want to learn the basics about Bitcoin, go to Bitcoin.com. It's a great place to get started on your world of cryptocurrency, which is a vast, expansive, deep world that you can dig as deep into as you want to. But start at the top, start at the surface level, get the basics over at Bitcoin.com. If you're not new to Bitcoin, you want to get the latest news headlines, then head over to news.bitcoin.com and you'll find those there. Once again, that's news.bitcoin.com. All right, so we've been talking about the minimum wage and the damage that raising the minimum wage can do. In fact, the best thing to do would be to abolish it entirely. Now, if you hear me say that and you think that I am some sort of harsh person who wants to starve people and see people get hurt, you're wrong. That's not the case at all. But what I understand is that the minimum wage does prevent certain people from getting jobs. It prevents individuals from being able to negotiate a lower wage for whatever reason. You know, maybe the business owner just can't afford to hire another person on at $7.50 an hour, but they want you to be able to. They want to have some kid who's under the working age or whatever. He's 13, can't legally get a job. You're willing to have him sweep the parking lot for $5 an hour or something like that. You can't do that. You cannot legally hire that person who could otherwise earn valuable work experience of showing up on time and smiling at the customers and learning the basics. But no, you can't do that. It's prevented. That person's job could exist, but because of minimum wage and because of minimum working ages, does not. I'm sorry, Darryl, go ahead.
And I was going to mention, maybe the only skills that the person has is they can sweep the parking lot and pick up the trays off of the tables at McDonald's where people haven't taken their trash up themselves. But no, you have to take, Timmy off of the fryer or somebody off of the front line, no longer taking orders, go do this other thing that needs to be done when you could just hire somebody for $4 an hour.
Which is one of the things that happens when you raise the minimum wage, because then if the business owner says, well, I used to be able to, I have small business, I had 4 employees, but now that they're doubling the minimum wage, I'm going to have to fire 1 or 2 of my employees, and then I'm going to have to make my other employees do twice the amount of work, because I just can't afford to do this.
I've got some statistics here about who actually makes minimum wage.
Very few people. It's very few of the breadwinners in like the main house of. If you look at a household and the people that are working within that household, the head of the household very rarely makes minimum wage. Almost always they're making more than the minimum wage. But what did you find?
From the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so federal government numbers.
Yep.
From 2016, which is the most recent that they have, they show that 2.7% of people that are paid hourly are paid the minimum wage.
That's like pretty insignificant.
Yes, it is.
Less than 3%.
Yes, and it's actually down from 3.3% the year before, which was down from close to 4% the year before that, down from the all-time high of 13.4% in 1979 when data was first collected.
Huh.
And now they break it down even further. Although workers under the age of 25 represent only about 1/5 of all hourly paid workers, they make up about half of those paid the federal minimum wage.
Because they're new, because they're young, because they don't have skills, they don't have the basics. This is where you learn those things, is at a very cheap rate.
Among employed teenagers, those 16 through 19, paid by the hour, about 10% earned the minimum wage, compared with about 2% of workers aged 25 and older. Also tends to be more females than men.
Huh.
And again, because not the primary breadwinner. They do actually, further down here, about 6% of part-time workers, those working less than 35 hours per week, are paid the minimum wage, compared with 2% of full-time workers. So what you have here is students working part-time or someone working part-time to get a second income for a household.
DailySignal.com has a piece from a business owner, small business owner. Headline, I'm a small business owner. Raising the minimum wage would hurt my employees. He writes, and this is for, again, DailySignal.com, just published today. A liberal group in my home state of Virginia recently called on the Virginia General Assembly to increase the minimum wage to $15 per hour. This call is not unique to Virginia. The Fight for 15 campaign is spreading throughout the country at a rapid rate and needs to be stopped. The misguided campaign says that it wants to, quote, boost the wage floor for hardworking men and women, unquote. But if it succeeds, it will only push the job creators who employ those people out of business. As a small business owner with years of experience managing my business in Virginia, I know firsthand that when lawmakers create legislation that forces employers to increase employees' hourly pay via mandate, it ultimately leads to reduced hours, business closures, and job losses. Advocates for increasing the minimum wage claim a boost in pay for the lowest paid workers will enable them to have a living wage. Their slogans may sound promising, but their proposed solution is counterproductive. Many economists have studied state and local minimum wage increases throughout the country, concluding that minimum wage hikes actually lead to job losses and reduction of hours, especially in industries with the lowest paid employees. And that's because of what we were talking about before. There's only so much that you have that you can spend as a business owner as far as your overhead is concerned. And if your overhead, which, by the way, the people you pay is usually the largest chunk of your overhead. If that amount goes up significantly, as the proposals are with $15 minimum wages, there's only a few different ways you can deal with that.
Yep.
Because this isn't magic.
I can tell you what I do. I'd automate it.
Meaning you'd fire people.
Yep.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. A little more from this business owner coming up. Your thoughts welcome. Free Talk Live.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Hear that?
That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free to join us here. If you want, you can bring up anything. And still to come, we have to get to, we got other stuff that we actually brought in to talk about here tonight, but we had a caller call in about maximum and minimum wages, and we're diving deep into this one here because it is an issue that is very big these days in the United States with the so-called Fight for 15 thing that's going on out there. And it's something that plays on people's emotions, not logic. And of course, it's hard to explain things logically to somebody who's emotionally involved in something.
I don't know about logically. I think it's easy to explain it logically. It's harder to explain it in a way that somebody would understand who's
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a business owner.
It's hard it's just hard to explain something to somebody who feels like you hate employees. You hate people. You want them to make no money.
To rephrase what Ian is saying, it's difficult to have a logical discussion with someone who is relying on not logic.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yes, the emotion. Yes. Yeah, most people are emotional. They have like a logic. They're not logical, they're emotional.
Right, and it's hard to really put this in a way that could appeal to emotion, right? Because you can appeal to the business owner. They understand. They don't need to be, taught anything here. But to the person who wants to just have people taken care of, who wants people to make enough money to be comfortable, this seems like if you're against the minimum wage, you look like some sort of horrible monster to that person. And it's hard to position yourself in another way.
Why do you want struggling college students that are working part-time at Ruby Tuesdays to not make $15 an hour, Ian? Why do you hate struggling teenagers?
I don't hate anybody, really.
But again, most of the people that are having these conversations, they're not looking to see that on average, the people making minimum wage are students or someone making a second income for a household.
And they're not looking at any statistics.
They're not even capable of. They're not capable of performing work that would, warrant a higher wage to begin with. That's the other thing.
Which is why they're getting paid
right.
skill.
I think that there are some people that are making minimum wage that are capable of doing things, but because they're students or they're getting that second income for the household, they might not have the time to have a job
but
putting their skills to use.
That's kind of what I'm getting at here. I mean, they don't warrant it because, I'll give you an example. I can't hire employees that are in college, not because they're not capable of the work, but because I can't afford to have somebody come in the evenings
and then leave.
and then leave and then only stick around for
2 years.
For a very short amount of time. I need somebody who's more, who can show up to work every day from 9 to 5, do their job, put in 40 hours.
That's why you see college students working at a cashier or working as a waitress or something like that.
Right, exactly.
Those jobs you can change out pretty interchangeably.
Right.
But there's a piece here from a business owner, and I want to continue, that he is in Virginia, and he says the Fight for 15 thing has come to his state.
What industry is this guy in again?
He doesn't make it clear, at least at this point. He is a small business owner.
And the only reason I ask is I'm still looking at the statistics here from BLS, and they mention that the industry with the highest percentage of workers earning hourly wages at or below federal minimum was leisure and hospitality, about 13%, and 3/5 of all of the workers paid at or below federal minimum wage were employed in this industry, almost entirely in restaurants and other food services.
He says many economists have studied the local and state minimum wage increases throughout the country, concluding that minimum wage hikes actually lead to job losses and reduction of hours, which is, of course, the opposite of what the people who want to see the minimum wage increased want. They don't want to see people get fired.
Which means it actually hurts the lowest and paid workers the most.
Exactly. Which is why, I don't know if that is going to appeal to emotion or not, but if you can stop for a moment and stop, and actually listen to the studies that have been done. This isn't the only time these things have been done. This has been done over decades. Every time the minimum wage goes up, somebody does a study on what are the effects of this. Oh, look, people just lost their jobs. Who lost their jobs? The people on the lowest end of the totem pole.
University of Washington research paper shows that in Seattle, low-wage workers on average now clock 9% fewer hours and earn $125 less per month than before Seattle wound up increasing the minimum wage.
The Fight for 15 campaign successfully lobbied California into increasing its minimum wage to $15 an hour by the year 2022. But researchers from the Employment Policies Institute found that by 2022, when the increase is fully phased in, an estimated 400,000 jobs will be lost. Seattle's minimum wage experiment has been similarly destructive, leaving slashed hours and lower take-home pay in its wake, as Darryl just pointed out. One thing is clear: when the government forces employers to give their employees a raise, deserved or not, they're left with fewer resources and forced to make difficult decisions. I love my business, and I love my employees even more. And when business is doing well and employees are succeeding at their jobs, I give them a well-deserved raise. I choose to do this when my business has the funds to do so. But if the government forces me to increase employee pay when times aren't so good, it puts me in a tough position. I could even have to let some employees go. Not because they're bad employees, but because I can no longer afford them. Look, this is not a magic thing. You cannot just wave a magic wand and all of a sudden increase wealth. It's a finite thing right now. Wealth increases over time. That's true. As more products and services are created, more efficiency is introduced into the marketplace, wealth does increase. We have more wealth today than we did 100 years ago. Drastic amounts of wealth.
Yep.
But in the moment, one moment to the next, you don't just wave a magic wand and then all of a sudden new wealth appears. You've got to deal with the costs, and those costs are very, very finite. And if the government mandates increased costs, then that's got to come out of something. He goes on to say, job creators know better than legislators what's best for business. And speaking as one, the best way to incentivize business owners to invest in their employees is by lowering their tax burden, which is exactly what he claims Republican tax cuts accomplish. Now, I don't know if that's true, because usually the Republicans don't actually cut spending. So if they cut the taxes, they don't actually cut the spending, and they just put the government in further debt, so it makes it look like they've done you a favor.
Yeah. And that's what happened with this latest tax cut thing. And it wasn't even necessarily a tax cut for everybody, where certain people might wind up having taxes increase under certain really extreme, rare situations.
It lowers taxes temporarily, and then it ultimately, at the end of the day, it increases taxes for everybody at the lower end, and it lowers it for the people at the higher end. That's kind of the way the Republican tax cuts work, I think.
Yeah, they're scammers too, just like the Democrats. Anyway, he says it's Economics 101. More money in the hands of small business owners means more money in the hands of their employees, their families, and the local economy. Over 300 businesses throughout the country have used their tax savings to reinvest in their business by voluntarily giving their employees raises and bonuses. According to Americans for Tax Reform, more than 3.5 million individuals have already benefited from tax cuts, which remain a more powerful economic tool than any government mandate. Now, I have to agree that if they actually did cut taxes and cut the government spending at the same time, and if indeed business owners do have more money that they can do things with, that means that not only can they invest in their employees, but they can also invest in their capital in their business as well. So maybe they could buy a piece of equipment that makes their business more efficient. Right. That means that they can then lower their prices, making their business more competitive in the marketplace, meaning more customers might come to them, meaning their business may stay in business rather than going out of business, and their employees stay employed.
On the other side of this, I kind of have to wonder if it might be an incentive for business owners to make things even more efficient, because if they don't, they're going to go out of business.
Are you saying increasing the minimum wage?
No, I'm saying I'm saying increasing the minimum wage will result in U.S. businesses becoming more efficient, because the business owners are going to end up investing in automation.
Yeah.
So it'll make it more efficient.
Or they might just go out of business because they don't have the capital sitting around.
It depends on the business, of course. Some businesses will go under and some businesses will automate.
Right. What do you want to do? Do you want to take out a big loan and a risk, possibly automating your whole thing, or just go out of business because your lease is up?
You can't afford it if you're a small business.
Screw it. That's what I'm saying. Most people aren't going to be able to afford these increases. All right, there's more on the way here. You can share your thoughts on the minimum wage or anything on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
This week, researchers released a comprehensive 5-year study linking heavy drinking during pregnancy with attending a concert by Detroit-based rap rocker Kid Rock. The study found that women who had consumed alcohol while pregnant were much more likely to be wearing leather halter tops and making devil horn hand gestures during encores of All Summer Long and Ba with the Ba than those who did not.
Drinking 3 or more alcoholic beverages in less than an hour was highly correlated with going backstage at a Kid Rock show and then getting into a fistfight with another woman in the parking lot.
The world's supercomputers released a study this week confirming that they lack sufficient power, presenting a thorough case for significant leaps in speed and memory. Overwhelming evidence found that these complex machines should have total control over the critical systems they manage, including integration into the planet's energy grid, freshwater supply chain, and telecommunications systems. The study's 500 co-authors further concluded that all permutations have been simulated and that this is the optimal course of action.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free to bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Do want to let you know we are on Twitch. I know that there were several days last week when we weren't because we were down in Mexico, which would have been impossible to be on Twitch. Number one, because we were recording the show. And number two, because even if we weren't, even if we were live, the bandwidth was not particularly good there at the hotel. So I don't think we would have even been able to get a video stream out of there in any kind of reliable manner. Although, to be fair, they did have a live stream going with the official stream from Anarchapulco, and as I understand it, that was actually pretty good. So if you pay enough, you can get a decent internet connection down there. They do exist. But if you're sharing a big hotel Wi-Fi connection with another 1,000 people or 1,500 people, then yeah, that's not going to work real well. But we do have Twitch. It's on right now, and we got people in the Twitch chat. So we've got our Discord chat room where people are chatting. But actually tonight, the Twitch chat's been pretty hot. You can go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can watch Free Talk Live as it happens live there 7 nights per week. And for those that don't know, Twitch is a video game streaming platform primarily. That's what it is used for. That's what it was designed for. But they started expanding out their options as far as the different types of things that can be streamed on Twitch. And one of their subcategories is talk shows. So we decided to go ahead and throw Free Talk Live up there. and it's actually been working out pretty well. Lots of people are watching us through Twitch over the week. It's not a whole bunch, but we appreciate the people who are there.
It's enough.
And it's more than we had.
Yeah.
It's another few dozen than that had previously done so. We've got, I think, close to 200 people now that are what they call followers on Twitch, which means that if you've got the Twitch app on your phone, and whenever we go live, which is, we're always live at 7 o'clock at night Eastern Time, 7 days a week, you'll get a notice on your phone that says, hey, Free Talk Live's live, so tune in. And so, if you've spaced out or you got busy doing something, then that little notice is going to remind you that we're there live. So go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can follow us there, and if you really want, you can subscribe to support the show through Twitch. There were like 40-something subscribers last month, but this month it's down to 20-something. And that's because apparently you have to, if you've got the Twitch Prime, which is Amazon Prime thing, like if you subscribe to Amazon Prime for the free shipping, one of the benefits is that you get a free Twitch subscription once a month. But that also means that you have to go back every single month and reapply that Twitch subscription to the channel that you like. So if you did that last month, then you need to do it again this month, or you should. We'd appreciate it if you did.
So the subscribe isn't necessarily the same as when you subscribe to something on YouTube?
No, totally different. Subscribing with Twitch gets rid of advertising for that channel, so like Twitch would...
so it's like subscribing to Hulu, but
Correct.
You have to renew every month instead of just the auto. Hulu takes money out of you every month.
Well, Twitch has that too, but if you've got Twitch Prime, meaning if you've got Amazon Prime, then you have to keep coming back every month and re-giving that to your favorite channel. Whereas if you don't
Sounds
have
complicated.
if you don't have Twitch Prime, you can just go and pay $5 a month, and then it will be every single.
How do they get rid of the advertising? Like because do they insert like audio ads, or is it like
video ads? So it's a video
so it
streaming
doesn't
service.
interrupt the stream.
Yes. So when you tune into the stream,
does interrupt the stream.
you will likely see an advertisement. I don't know how often they come midstream. I don't know if that's very often at all. I think it's kind of like when you join the channel as a viewer, they will feed you an advertisement at that point.
Okay.
But you can avoid that by becoming a subscriber. Anyway, go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can check that out there. And as I said, we got people in there chatting. In fact, one of our chatters in Twitch, Wicked Kender, says that most Americans live way beyond their means. We were talking earlier about what you were saying, Chris, was, hey, if your life...
Money management.
Exactly. People who have got bad financial habits, they can change those habits, but it takes financial responsibility. It takes financial discipline to be able to do that. You talked about getting rid of a habit that somebody might have, like smoking cigarettes or drinking or
eating out.
Or that's absolutely something that people do too often, right?
Yeah.
Story from USA Today from November of last year. The average American household carries $137,063 in debt.
What? The average household?
Yes.
Hold
Now
on.
you figure.
What was that number again? One more time.
$137,063.
Mortgages.
Here's a breakdown.
Does that include renters?
Average. Some people have more than that.
Includes everybody. Credit cards. The average household has $16,000, almost $17,000 in credit card, $29,000 in auto loans, $50,000 in student loans, and mortgages are not included in that number. The average mortgage that's outstanding is $182,421. According to this article from USA Today.
Yeah, that right there is the reason why people live paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Because they are living beyond their means, as Wicked Kender says in our chat room, meaning they're going into debt to acquire things that they think are important, like a 70-inch television set or a brand new car.
And I'm going to throw another number at you that's also in this article that I skipped over. Again, average household debt, $137,063. The median household income.
Median, meaning half. So you're comparing averages to medians, but regardless, it's still going to be interesting. Median household income, I'm going to say $70,000.
I was going to say $60,000.
Chris, you would lose if you were on Price is Right because you were still over, but you were the closest, $59,039.
Good call.
That was pretty close, man.
Yeah.
I might lose, but yeah.
Only if it was Price is Right. If it was just a guessing game of who's closest, you would win.
Yeah.
People don't understand interest. They don't understand that, you can just go and get this 70-inch TV in on the cars, and then you just have to pay the minimum payment.
Again, that's terrible.
$50,000 of student loans.
Yep, but you can't wipe those away.
Those don't go away.
Right.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at all these, especially, it's actually kind of sad, but I'm especially in Keene, unfortunately, but there's a lot of stores that rent like furniture and televisions. And do you want to know the quickest way to go into debt? Shopping there.
Yeah. That's as somebody who goes to a rent-to-own store is somebody who does not understand financial discipline, somebody who does not understand interest.
Right. Go to one of the 5 billion thrift stores that are, we've got thrift stores on every corner here.
Mm-hmm.
Go there and buy a couch for $20.
Right.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
Or go to the rent-to-own and pay $20 down and then like $20 a week for 20 billion years, and it never gets paid off.
It's absolutely crazy because you can go on like Craigslist. I mean, there's like other places you can get stuff that's super cheap, that's super nice, that's just as good as the brand new stuff that you buy.
Walk around during the spring and summer, and there's going to be...
When I go running
over
that crap away.
I can't tell you the number of couches I've seen just sitting on the side of the street with a sign that says free.
No doubt about it. And like I said, we're in a college town. When they get out of their spring classes, a lot of them just chuck furniture out. It's
Xboxes.
Yeah.
James Cleveland found Xboxes
just being thrown out.
TVs.
That's right.
Furniture.
Oh, and it's funny because he was actually that was his business.
Yeah,
he was making money off of this.
Dumpster diving and finding the good stuff.
He in theory could have made money, but he had a problem with hoarding, unfortunately.
He had 5 billion storage units.
So his business model didn't work, but there was certainly opportunity there if things had been managed a little bit differently.
Right. Had he not filled a bunch of storage units with all the junk and
guys,
paid $1,000 a month for storage.
Space costs money.
Right.
If you find yourself selling, get rid of it.
If you find yourself opening a storage unit, you have too much stuff. That should be the indicator, unless it's some sort of like temporary thing where you're moving from one house to another and you need to have a storage unit temporarily to put your stuff in for like a month.
There's actually certain situations where it might be okay if you're selling premium items, And
No. I'm talking about an individual.
Yeah.
If you find yourself,
you
find yourself
definitely
needing to open a storage unit, that is the indication that you have too much stuff. Stop there and sell some of that crap.
Yep.
Unless I said the exception is, I've known some people who've used a storage unit temporarily where they have to leave a house and they just don't have the ability to move immediately into the new place.
Don't keep paying the rent when you bought the new place, so you're renting the new place. Move it out of that storage locker. It's expensive.
Yep. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom, and that's what James Cleveland used to do. Was he'd go around to storage units that were closing because the people couldn't pay their bill.
Yeah.
And then they just sell, they auction off all the crap in the storage unit to the highest bidder. Now, you never know really what's in there, so you get all kinds of interesting stuff.
That's a gamble.
In people's storage units. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the Federal Tax Management Helpline that has been set up for you, 800-503-8625. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-503-8625. That's 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire at the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, February 23rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $32, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,738. Antiwar.com reports the first pro-government militias arrived in Syria's Afrin district on Tuesday and immediately came under attack from the Turkish military. More arrived on Wednesday, and by Thursday, the first militias reached the front lines. The Kurdish YPG cheered the arrival of these reinforcements, but warned that they were insufficient, with Turkey throwing its military at them, pushing for Syria's army to get directly involved. YPG spokesman Nouri Mahmoud says that the Syrian army has a duty to protect the nation's borders from invasion, and that the militias are not in the quality or capacity to resist the Turkish forces. Turkey has threatened major consequences if Syria dares resist the invasion, and that seems to have the government reluctant to get directly involved, at least for now. With Turkey having endorsed regime change long ago, Syria may ultimately decide to get involved, feeling there is little more Turkey can do to them than what they're already doing. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Missouri Governor Eric Greitens was indicted by a grand jury on a felony charge of invasion of privacy on Thursday. The indictment, filed by St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kimberly M. Gardner, accuses Greitens of transmitting a nude image of a woman he had an affair with in 2015, which he took without her consent. Greitens allegedly threatened to blackmail the woman by releasing the image of her taken while she was blindfolded with her hands bound, according to a conversation recorded by her ex-husband, also without her consent. Gardner said the grand jury found probable cause to believe Greitens violated a Missouri statute which categorizes the transmitting of an image in a manner that allows access to the image via a computer as a Class E felony, punishable by up to 4 years in prison. Greitens issued a written statement on Facebook denying the allegations and saying the charges were politically motivated. He wrote in the statement, "As I have said before, I made a personal mistake before I was governor. I did not commit a crime. As today's disappointing and misguided political decision, my confidence in our prosecutorial system is shaken but not broken. I know this will be righted soon." His attorney, Edward L. Dowd Jr., also said Greitens did not commit a crime. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the armed sheriff's deputy assigned to the Florida high school where 17 people were shot dead has resigned rather than face suspension after an internal investigation showed he failed to enter the school to confront the gunman during the attack, according to the county sheriffs. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel said Deputy Scott Peterson, who was on duty and in uniform as the resource officer posted to Stoneman Douglas High School, was the only law enforcement officer present on February 14th when the rampage started. Peterson's actions were caught on video during the massacre carried out by a lone gunman. Israel said, "What I saw was the deputy arrive at the west side of Building 12, take up a position, and he never went in," referring to the building on campus, popularly known as the Freshman Building, where authorities said the bulk of the shooting occurred. Israel told reporters the shooting lasted about 6 minutes and that Peterson arrived at the Freshman Building within about 90 seconds after the first shots were fired, then lingered outside for at least 4 minutes. Asked what the deputy should have done, Israel responded, "Went in, addressed the killer, killed the killer." Peterson has not given a reason for why he did not enter the building. Israel said he would not release the video at this time and may never do so. Police officers arriving on the scene from adjacent Coral Springs thought the gunman was still inside as they searched the building based on a security camera video feed they mistakenly believed was showing them real-time images, but was actually footage from 20 minutes earlier. The Broward sheriff said Cruz, after slipping away from the school, casually spent more than an hour drifting through a Walmart store and visiting 2 fast food outlets before he was spotted and arrested. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
It's the Onion Radio News. A spokeswoman gives birth to a spokeschild. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Tacoma spokeswoman Tammy Barker became the proud mother of a bouncing baby spokeschild last night. According to spokespeople, Barker, a spokeswoman for a Tacoma-based pharmaceutical firm, the birthing process was a major success. Peter Wahlberg, spokesman for Tammy's husband Phil, had this to say.
At 9:17 p.m. last night, an 8.5-month-old spokes fetus was delivered alive and through the miracle of birth became a 7-pound, 6-ounce spokes child. Spokes father and spokes mother are doing fine.
Spokeswoman Barker is expected to be released from St. Robert's Hospital tomorrow. The spokeschild will remain in the hospital's media care unit for several weeks of training. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you're invited to join us here on the radio and bring up whatever's on your mind with you tonight. It's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
Of course, you can take control of the airwaves here. We're going to get into the stories that we actually intended to start the show with 2 hours ago. We had somebody call in about wages, and we ended up going in pretty deep into those topics. But I feel like we've exhausted that. So let's. Of course, you can call in and add in if you feel like it at 8:55.
I feel like I could talk about it for another 2 hours, but
probably
I don't think we should.
We shouldn't. Yeah, 8:55, 450 free. It won't be the last time it comes up. That's for sure. 855-450-3733, or Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM, or call us on the Discord on-air call-in line, where we actually do have somebody. We're going to start the show out there. Or we did have somebody. They just disappeared. So anyway, if you want to jump in the Discord on-air call-in line, it's there for you over at discord.lrn.fm. So the story I wanted to start the show out with was this update on what's going on with the school shooting situation out in Florida. Apparently, according to NBCMiami.com, deputies will be carrying rifles on the grounds of local schools in Broward County in the wake of the Parkland shooting, according to Broward Sheriff Scott Israel. He said this on Wednesday this week. Israel said that only deputies who are, quote, qualified and trained, unquote, will carry rifles on school grounds. Does that mean
as opposed to deputies who are not qualified and trained to carry weapons?
Strange.
Or are they going to carry weapons and go shoot dogs? Like, what exactly are the unqualified deputies going to do?
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. Here's what he further had to say, quote, "When they're not carrying the rifle until we look for gun locks and gun lockers, the only place when they're not slinging the rifle that will be allowed to be stored will be in their locked police vehicle," he said. The practice was implemented Wednesday morning, said Israel at a news conference. He says, quote, Schools as soft targets need to be fortified. Now, what do you do when you fortify something? What sort of things do you fortify?
So here's what I'm thinking. And I'm not going to directly answer your question, but here's what I'm thinking as far as fortifications. You get double fencing. You put barbed wire at the top.
Yeah.
Razor wire as well. Maybe
that's important.
Spikes in between the two rows of fencing. Maybe some watchtowers.
How about gators?
Searchlights.
How about a moat with gators?
It is Florida.
Yeah. Put them to work.
Possibly.
Hungry gators.
You've got...
Just feed them the bare minimum.
You've got searchlights. You've got the towers. You have people patrolling the towers.
Right.
You could
machine
probably
gun
even
turrets.
have...
If you're going to have a tower, you can put a machine gun up there.
Yes. There's a reason they call it day prison. Just go ahead and turn it into one.
That's right. That's what he's talking
about.
about.
Turn it into an actual
crazy
prison.
About this?
Your crime is you're not 18 years old yet, and you don't have a piece of paper that says high school diploma.
Right.
I've already seen schools that look a lot like what you're describing.
That's
Not
true.
with the guard towers, but
there's
with the
barbed wire fences.
The barbed wire fences, and I know somebody in Tennessee who actually went to a school that had this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. It doesn't work to keep out guns.
You also need metal detectors. You need random cavity searches.
The cameras were supposed to, the whole idea behind the cameras.
Random? No. We need to make sure every single student that comes in there needs to bend over and cough like they did to me in jail.
No. I'm saying the times at which you do them are random.
The whole reason that they started putting cameras in schools was because of Columbine, right? That's what I recall, anyway.
The school that I went to, and I graduated in 1996, which was 3 years before Columbine, we had cameras in the hallways.
Did you really?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
And we thought that was... We called the school Hewitt Trustville Maximum Security Prison because we were the only school anywhere in the area, possibly the only one in the state at the time
the Columbine
to have
thing
cameras.
Resulted in a lot of more schools adding cameras. And
I think it resulted in more schools adding them, but it was not the reason that they were introduced into the first school.
Yeah. I wasn't arguing that. I'm sure there's places that had cameras before that. I just mean that one of the big reasons, one of the big excuses that they started adding them was because of Columbine. And I think it was just ridiculous because if you look now, look at how well that worked. It didn't stop any of the shootings that came after, and we have videos.
It didn't even stop the shooting in Columbine.
Did they have cameras there too?
Yes.
Oh man, that's
what about landmines? Did you mention landmines?
Hilarious.
I did not mention landmines. They don't have those in
not yet.
The yard of prisons.
That's a good point.
Because
but nothing is too safe.
You get
for our
time
students
out in the yard, assuming that the prison that you're at actually has outside yard. The prison that I worked at, the outside was still inside.
That's how it is here.
But there was enough gating to allow sunlight in to where
so it's legally.
It was legally outside because it got fresh air and a certain amount of daylight.
Yep. That's how it is here at the the Keene Spiritual Retreat, as we like to call it.
Is it concrete ground?
You're inside basically with
the I don't know if they use concrete or if they use.
I can tell you that in Keene,
it probably was
at the Keene jail. You're in a room where there's a garage door that's higher up than you can reach. That door is open, and that lets the air come in and let some light in as well. And so that's what they consider to be the outside area. And so, yes, you're in a concrete cage.
The floor is the same stuff that the rest of the floor. I don't know if it's concrete or if it's some other.
Doesn't really matter. I'm just asking: is it really outside? Or do you have grass, or is it?
That's why we said it is legally outside because fresh air comes in and sunlight comes in.
It's like being in a garage, basically.
Yeah.
A fortified garage that you can't escape from.
Yes.
All right, so schools as soft targets need to be fortified, said the sheriff. And so he's going to have multiple deputies on the school campuses in Broward County. And so that's up from, now, most schools, at least when I was growing up, they did start adding these school resource officers to
we never
schools.
had those.
And you and I were growing up similar times, so it was just coincidence that you didn't have them, but we did.
Right. Well,
I
am a couple years older than you.
Still, I remember they brought that in throughout my high school years, so it wasn't just like in the last year or something like that. And it was only one, so I suspect some schools already have added more than one.
Right.
But it sounds like they're adding several officers to this detail.
It's interesting to define what that means, because I believe in my school they were not they didn't have any sort of legal or authoritarian.
Oh, you're wrong. You probably didn't see them enact anything.
They didn't have any.
They're a cop. It's a cop. He can arrest you.
Right. So
he's got a gun.
My school had something similar, except that they were security. They were not
plainclothes.
Plainclothes. No, they weren't cops.
Were they private security?
It was school hired in security people, basically.
Were they private security?
They had no
arrest.
They had no arrest. They had no arrest power.
That's surprising to me. So this was a government school?
It was a government school, yeah.
Okay. That's new to me.
And they had a few people.
Because normally what you've got are what they call school resource officers, which is a cop.
Right. And
with
this is
full
why
arrest capabilities.
This is why I'm asking. Let's define it, because they called them school resource officers, I believe, too, where I went to high school, and it was different than the way I've heard it explained to me, and I'm like, oh, really? That shocks me that they're actual cops in schools.
Yeah, that's pretty standard these days, I would say.
That's just blows my mind.
And now you're talking about multiple officers. He said he spoke with Broward School Superintendent Runcie, who supported the idea. A reporter asked if officers will carry AR-15s, and Israel said some would. The AR-15 is the very weapon used in the tragic shooting that left 17 dead at Stoneman Douglas High School last Wednesday. Israel said, quote, "It will be done safely. We need to be able to defeat any threat that comes onto campus."
So I wonder if that means that the new deputies carrying these AR-15s are going to be as heroic as Deputy Scott Peterson, who was on duty and in uniform at Stoneman Douglas High School and stood outside the building for 4 minutes.
I am surprised that he is facing any kind of punishment for that, because
he resigned before the internal investigation was done.
And he got full retirement, too.
Because he had been there for 32 years.
Yeah. But I'm still surprised that they're making it sound like they are mad at him for that, because in many cases, they actually tell their officers to wait outside for backup because of officer safety.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free to join us on the radio. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
And for a long time, libertarians have been asking for something that's finally available. It's essentially a business directory, but it's much more than that. Liberty.menu. It's a place you can go to have your business, if you're a libertarian or a liberty-minded person, anarchist, voluntarist, however you describe yourself. If you are somebody who is an individual who rejects the initiation of force and who agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, this site is for you. Whether you have a business or you're looking for a liberty-oriented business, this is a site that brings those people together. If you have a business, you need to go to liberty.menu and get listed there. It's free. So there's really no reason not to do this. You can actually list more than one business. Darryl, how many entries are you up to on liberty.menu?
Well over 30.
30 entries. So you don't have 30 businesses. You've put other things on there like digital videos or...
I've put meetups. I put businesses for other people. So Little Zoe's Take and Bake here in Keene.
Yep.
They accept crypto.
I've
added them.
Yep. So, and then eventually...
I've added the Bitcoin vending machines that I do the service stuff on. I've added Corner News. I've added Local Burger.
Yeah. Now, at some point, if the actual business owner wants to take that over,
they can do that.
There's a way to transfer that,
yes.
Correct? So it's a really slick site.
Right. You can mark whether or not you are the owner of the business or not.
Very, very slick stuff. And there's comments, there's reviews. So if you've been to the business, you can leave a review there for other people to benefit from. Liberty.menu, it is an amazing tool. I'm so happy that we're on board with helping to promote this thing. You really ought to go and check it out because it looks good, it works well, and it connects liberty-oriented businesses with liberty-oriented customers, which is what people have been wanting for a long time. And there have been some lackluster efforts in the past, nothing that's really ever caught on. I think this is the one. Liberty.menu. Go check it out for yourself. As we go to your calls and thoughts, we're going to try out, once again, the Discord on-air call-in line, where Stephen is on the line calling from New England. Stephen, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
Talk about Bitcoin?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So, do you think it's stable?
No. I mean, well, what do you mean by stable? I mean, the price is all over the place.
Like, is the price going to stay the same, or...
No,
I think the price will stay the same for about the next 2.5 seconds, and then it will change.
Yeah. No, the price doesn't ever stay the same with Bitcoin. I mean, anybody can go look at the charts.
The price doesn't stay the same with any cryptocurrency, even the ones that are tried to be pegged to something.
No currency period stays the same.
Right.
I'm sorry, but they all fluctuate.
There's risk involved. That's why that we say if you can't afford to lose money, then don't put it into Bitcoin because it could go down in price. Over time, however, if you look at the graphs, you can go to, let's say, coinmarketcap.com.
Right,
and
but even things like gold and silver, the price has fluctuated over the last hour.
Sure. Well, yes, absolutely. But as I was saying, if you look at the price of Bitcoin over time, you'll see that over time it has trended upwards.
Right.
So there's no guarantee, however, that will continue. It could all of a sudden die tomorrow, but that seems very unlikely. The more people accept it, the more businesses accept it, the more useful it becomes, the less likely it will go to zero.
What people have to realize, though, is like if you look at like the U.S. dollar and the Canadian dollar, the Canadian U.S. dollar was I don't know, not that long ago, almost on par, and then it was like 1.5 within like I don't know 6 months maybe, and the different currencies fluctuate. All right, that's just the way things are.
Right. When I was
and commodities fluctuate.
Yeah.
The price of everything fluctuates.
Yep. Right. When I was in Mexico last time, it was 200 pesos for $10 US.
I have another question.
Now it was 170 for $10. Go ahead. Yeah.
Do you think 9/11 was staged?
There are a lot of opinions about 9/11. I don't know what you mean by staged. So can you explain that? Oh, he just dropped out of the call-in line. I guess that was his last question. So we don't get an explanation of what he means by staged, but do you guys want to answer the question?
I will answer the question thus.
Yep.
If George Bush held a press conference tomorrow and pulled off his mask and revealed I'm actually a lizard,
space alien.
No, the claimant, the reptilian.
They're
overlords.
space aliens.
Oh, I didn't realize they were space aliens.
That's
I just thought
theory.
they were some kind of. But whatever.
For people that believe that stuff.
The whole, I'm actually a lizard. Here's how I planned everything. What difference does it make? Will the Patriot Act automatically be repealed?
Big thing.
Right. Will the Patriot Act automatically be repealed because is there a clause in there of if George Bush reveals how he did it, then all of this goes away?
But I mean, if George Bush is a lizard man, then I mean that's a pretty big revelation, Darryl.
Does the NSA cease to exist? Do the hundreds of thousands of Iraqis and Afghanistanis that have been murdered in the war on terror, do they come back to life?
Nope.
Is Edward Snowden all of a sudden no longer going to be in exile? Does he get to come back to the United States and not face trial for exposing all of these horrible things?
The word staged.
What difference does it make?
The word staged suggests that it was, done by some sort of outside organization that has yet to be revealed, or the government did it, or something else. I mean, was it staged in that they plotted in advance and they executed a plot and they went ahead with that? I don't know what the word staged really means in this
but
context.
Again, the question is, what difference does it actually make? We already know that governments screw things up. We know that governments kill people. I don't think that George Bush is competent enough to have carried this thing out without anybody finding out about it.
Especially given that you would have to cover it up with probably the assistance of hundreds, if not thousands, of other individuals who'd have to keep their mouths shut. I mean, the conspiracy theories about this, ultimately, the only difference it would make, Darryl, would be the conspiracy theorists would be able to go, yeah, we told you so. I mean, that's really the only thing that...
Right, but the Patriot Act remains law.
Yep.
The war on terror keeps existing because they still hate us.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was awfully convenient, but at the same time, how am I supposed to know? How is anybody supposed to know? I mean, do you really think it's going to be anything's going to change even if it did happen? I agree with Darryl. It doesn't matter much. There's no way to really know. And
I think there's some interesting questions around 9/11, but will we ever get any answers?
I wouldn't put it past the government to do it, but I'm not going to go and say the government did it because I have no idea. I have no idea.
How did a passport survive almost intact when nothing else from the building survived intact?
Well, how did Building 7 end up going down in the way that it did? I know the claim is it just caught on fire in some places, but what?
Sometimes in life we just don't have answers to stuff, and you shouldn't. It's making stuff up or trying to piece stuff together that just could go either way. It doesn't help explain
the
things
problem.
necessarily.
Really, the problem is with the theories is the rabbit hole aspect of you get into the world of conspiracy theory and you don't get out. It just keeps getting deeper and
then
deeper.
There's regarding 9/11 specifically, which is what he asked about. There's the theory of the U.S. government allowed it to happen. And then there's the theory that the United States government made it happen.
The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Or then there's the reality that it happened because of the U.S. government's involvement and meddling in the Middle East.
That's
that
a fact.
happened.
Yeah,
there's more coming up. Free Talk Live.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you're invited here to join us. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username is lrn.fm. The Discord call-in chat room, or the Discord on-air call-in line, is at discord.lrn.fm. And with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
Also, I want to let you know about My Pillow. Great pillow. I missed it in Mexico when I was there for...
Oh, you forgot to take it with you?
No, I didn't forget. I made the choice of not taking it just because you can only bring so much stuff down into another country. And somebody in customs stole my headphones, so I certainly wouldn't want them stealing My Pillow. So anyway, mypillow.com is where you can go to get yours. You get half off by using code FTL, like Free Talk Live. Why do you want it? Well, it's designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position, and it does a great job at that. And it's also washable. You can put it in the washer and the dryer. It is designed for that. In fact, when you first get your MyPillow, it's all compressed because they ship it, and they compress it to ship for space purposes, and so you have to put it in the dryer to kind of poof it out. So check it out over at mypillow.com. Use code FTL. Get your half off there. If for some reason you don't like it, though, within the first 60 days, which should be way more than enough time to determine whether you like it or not, then you can send it back to the company. They'll send you your purchase price back. And if you keep it, as we have done, the pillow itself is guaranteed to last you for 10 years. That's mypillow.com using code FTL, like Free Talk Live. To the phones, to the fun, where Caleb is listening in Tennessee to WGOW AM. Hello, Caleb.
Hey, guys.
Hey, you're on the air.
First of all, I just want to say I'm sorry that someone stole your headphones through customs. That's just terrible.
You say what? I'm sorry. What about you're sorry that
he apologized that somebody stole your headphones when you went through customs.
Oh yeah, I just couldn't make out the final words. It may have been the TSA actually, not customs, because TSA actually left a note in my checked bag that said, we tossed your bag, and of course it looked like they tossed it. They just shove everything back in there and whatever.
Yeah, when you mentioned that to me, I said, I wonder if it was just incompetence of they thought everything was back in and, the headphones fell on the floor and they didn't notice.
Well, either way, somebody ended up with a pair of headphones.
Right.
Well, TSA has been known to be very dishonest. I mean, there are some incompetent issues that come with them, but that's a whole different story.
Yes. Yeah, I know a girl who got drugs stolen from her from the TSA, and they never arrested her for it. The drugs just weren't there. I mean, it was a bad idea to smuggle drugs through an airport.
Yeah.
But she made it through just without the drugs. Some TSA agent.
That reminds me of that guy who called the cops because he got ripped off in a crack deal.
Yeah.
So, they tossed. I'm pretty sure it was the TSA. And my reasoning for this, because certainly the Mexican customs are known for taking things too. But TSA, I believe it was them, because the Mexican guys never charged me for the cigarettes that I was bringing down there. Angel Clark, who lives in Acapulco, who's one of the talk show hosts on LRN.FM, she had been getting, Mexican customs had been stealing her cigarettes that her dad was trying to ship her through the mail. So she figured, all right, have Dad send the cigarettes to Ian. Ian will bring down in his checked bag and
that's how it has to be done.
Make it more likely that he's going to get through with it. But she said that if Mexican customs, they may or may not charge me for them for like a duty kind of tax. You're importing these things. But Mexican customs never charged me for the cigarettes, so that tells me they didn't go through the bag.
Yeah,
right?
if you want to send something to Mexico, it's got to go through a private carrier. Otherwise, it's going
to get taken.
Yeah.
I hear the coyotes are really good.
Yeah, sure. So what were you calling about?
Well, originally I called in because I wanted to talk about the gun control and mental health issue, but
sure.
I heard your last caller. He just asked you about is 9/11 an inside job? And here's the thing. I understand it's a very open-ended question, and it's a very sticky subject because there's so many different angles to talk about it, and it's a very detailed situation. And one thing I will say is that one of your fellow broadcasters under the GNC radio company was Alex Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alex Jones is very vivid about that topic. And if anybody really wants some questions answered. I believe they should go look at Alex Jones because he has covered that topic very well.
Well, okay, so let's look at all the sides of this. Alex Jones has covered the topic, but there are also people who've covered the covering of the topic, meaning they've rebutted many of the points that a lot of the conspiracy theorists have made on this. And then there's also rebuttals to the rebuttals and rebuttals to the rebuttals to the rebuttals. And then you can just go in as deep into this rabbit hole as you want to. But there was a movie that everybody talks about called Loose Change. You got to see Loose Change. Remember this one from a decade ago? Well, there's Loose Change Guide that goes point by point through Loose Change and rebuts all of the points that Loose Change makes. So, like, when you hear one side of this thing, it sounds like, well, that's well researched. These people know what they're talking about. But then you read another side of it, and it's like, those people know what they're talking about. And you pick your favorite because there's no real way to know for sure what happened.
I understand there's a lot of counter arguments to the points that people make.
Yeah.
But one thing is people want to look at World Trade Center 7, and that is a building that fell down that was not the Twin Towers. Because everybody knows about the Twin Towers.
Yep.
But if you look at World Trade Center 7, you go online, you can watch it. They have a nice compilation where they have the falling of World Trade Center 7 alongside of a bunch of casinos being
demolished,
torn down in a controlled, in a controlled demolition. And the official story about World Trade Center 7 was that it was office fires that made it fall. And there's a lot of engineers out there that will tell you that, office flames will not cause the actual fall of the building. But
I just don't even understand. Like, I got to agree with you. Like, to me, as somebody who has been doing this show for 15, 16 years and have heard every single call and I've watched some of the conspiracy videos on this stuff, that's always been to me the biggest question mark about it was like, okay, you're going to claim that this building fell because of fires. What? They didn't have a fire suppression system in World Trade Center 7? I mean, it didn't get hit by any planes.
Yeah,
the claim is that
the
debris
water,
from the other building...
Wasn't the water cut or something? The mains are cut because of the Trade Center towers or something, and then the fire broke out.
I've never heard that.
Why would they normally cut it was built over a power station, and so the structure was designed differently than most buildings, and then it...
I know the structure was designed differently. Because there wasn't a solid foundation.
And because of the some sort of damage that occurred, the fireproofing didn't work the way it was supposed to, and magically the building...
Wow.
Yeah, the asbestos got knocked off of the steel beam.
Right, which is what protected it, I believe, from normally should have protected it from fire.
The asbestos in Building 7? The one that didn't get hit by anything except for some debris?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
this is why it's all like...
I don't know.
It sounds plausible to me, but at the same time, it's like... There's a lot of things that are like...
And then there's videos of other buildings on fire in a much worse way than Building 7 that don't go down.
Right, and that's because their design is different. Like, if the fire suppression systems were working, the building wouldn't have gone down, right? But...
I don't know. I'm not an engineer.
I don't understand why a fire suppression system isn't going to work. Those things get tested, don't they?
Right,
yeah,
but what
only
you're saying is
under certain
if
conditions.
You cut off the water supply to the building, then the fire suppression system isn't going to work because it relies on
That's
water.
interesting. It's the first I've heard that they cut off the water supply to a building that's on fire. What?
Well, no, because I think so. There was more than just the trade centers that got damaged. Like this, there was a subway system that was nearby that got damaged.
There's the Millennium Hilton across the road.
That building's on fire over there. Let's cut the water supply off to this area. What? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Caleb. Anything else you want to share?
Well, this wasn't the real topic I wanted to talk about, but I will say this one thing that the word conspiracy has been a very perverted term because it has a literal definition, but when people, or at least most people, hear the word conspiracy, they think that it's something that's not true and it's just a crazy idea. But, conspiracy under the law is a real legal term, and people have been convicted in the court of law for...
Sure. I mean, there are conspiracies in the world.
The word conspiracy means
Two
a
people
secret
plotting.
plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful.
Yep, that's absolutely true. And there are true conspiracies out there. There have been many of them over the years. I mean, the Gulf of Tonkin is a great example of that. We can go through all kinds of existing, real, confirmed... what we're talking about here are conspiracies that are now fact versus theories, right? So we're in the realm of theory because nobody knows for sure. But Caleb, hang on. We'll bring you back for your other point here in moments. Free Talk Live.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the Federal Tax Management Helpline that has been set up for you, 800-503-8625. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-503-8625. That's 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Maybe enough time for you if you're on the line right now, or if you get on very quickly. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
And don't forget, you can go to our website, freetalklive.com. You can get behind the show by becoming a Free Talk Live amplifier. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. You can do it with PayPal, credit card, Bitcoin Core. Go and get signed up. You get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, the AMP-only Facebook group, the AMP-only Discord chats. Go and get all the details over at amp.freetalklive.com and get signed up. It makes a big difference for us. We take that money in and invest it into Free Talk Live so we can get on more radio stations. We're getting close to 180. We're at 179 stations right now. We can get more. It just takes time. It takes money. It takes effort. And the AMP program helps us with that. And you get those cool perks. Get all the details and get signed up over at amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. Gentleman who was on the line dropped off, so we're going back to more of your calls and thoughts here. Chris in New Mexico, I believe, listening over there to KABQ. Chris, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi. Well, that was quick.
Welcome. We aim to
thanks.
Please.
I'd like to continue on that minimum maximum wage.
Yeah, sure.
I kind of agree with the caller about the 100 or 150 factor, and there are lots of reasons for that. But let's go back to the minimum wage. You kind of said that people don't understand economics.
Yeah.
I don't have a degree in economics. I'm 67
We don't either.
years old. Okay. I'm 67 years old. I'm not a libertarian, so I actually believe government has a role to play. And there's one reason for that. It's that otherwise people end up with slave wages. When people have slave wages, and by the way...
But there's no evidence for that. I mean, Darryl, I know that you might be you're probably listening to the first hour of the show right now, but Darryl, you looked at the numbers of people that are receiving the minimum wage in the United States, and you're talking about less than 3%.
Correct, less than 3%, and by and large, we're talking about high school and college students or a spouse that is working a second job could be either their second job or just a second job for the household.
So the evidence is to the contrary. The evidence is that the marketplace actually raises wages over time.
3/5 of the people that make minimum wage work in restaurants.
Yep, but the thing is the government usually raises wages, or the companies raise wages, I meant to say, based on minimum wage. And by the way, I knew an employee in New Mexico who was making way below the minimum wage. And I said, well, how's that possible? Well, I'm working at Taco Bell, and they are assuming I make 15% in tips, which she did not. And they were paying her back then $3.50 an hour, and she was raising
I don't believe it.
Kids. Oh, yeah,
I don't believe it.
Okay,
Taco
fine.
Bell doesn't have servers. You're saying they classified their employees as servers?
I don't know if she was basically bussing the tables.
Well, I'd be shocked if that were the case. I think she might have been telling you a story because usually.
Oh hell no! She was my neighbor, and her kids were working for me And by the way, this was the law in California too. They used to pay below minimum wage until the 90s, where they said, "Oh no, you cannot count the tips."
So what you're saying is if I want to go into a business and make an agreement with the owner to work for $5 an hour, you think men with guns should come in there and stop that from happening?
No. But by the way,
that's what you support.
Who should stop that from happening?
Okay, this is how it works. If you pay people $5 an hour, let's assume that, no minimum wage, taxpayers are going to end up taking care of them. That's already going on at Walmart. Walmart pays sub-living wages, so they end up on Medicaid and food stamps.
So you're conflating minimum wage and living wage.
I'm sorry?
I said you are conflating the terms minimum wage and living wage.
Well,
the people I know from Walmart said they were taken care of well. Maybe what you're talking about is people who work for Walmart who have bad financial habits and who don't know how to save their money and take care of things and live with roommates or whatever.
No, you can look up the numbers. If you make $9 an hour at Walmart, which is I think what they do now is $9 an hour across the country, or maybe a little bit more, you're eligible for Medicaid and food stamps. So society is subsidizing Walmart. Do you understand
I'm against that. I'm against subsidizing corporations. I think that all welfare should be abolished as well. I think that people who need help should reach out to their neighbors for help from people who care.
The bigger subsidy to Walmart is the free land that they're getting from all of these municipalities to attract them to come in to then wind up getting the tax revenue.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think.
Okay. So we're a little bit on the same wavelength here. You're against welfare for the people, and you're against welfare.
I'm against corporate welfare. Yeah, I'm against that too. I'm against all kinds of forced wealth
I'm against
redistribution.
all forms of redistribution of wealth.
Forced redistribution of wealth.
Yeah, forced redistribution of wealth. Right.
I'm in favor of voluntary. If people want to support charities, if people want to support their neighbors directly, I think that's great.
Oh,
I'm
a huge supporter.
You know that doesn't work, right? You know
why doesn't it work? There are people that give billions of dollars to charity every single year in this country.
Well, the more you reduce taxes, by the way, the less people give to charities, and that's well proven. So
that's ridiculous. It's not. Most people in this country donated back in the day 10% of their income to charity. You cannot tell me that reducing taxes is going to have the opposite effect.
Right. People use taxes as their excuse to not donate to charity. They just figure, it's already taken care of. I've already paid taxes for this. The reverse is actually the case.
Look at this. Okay, look at the studies. This is completely the opposite. The more you increase taxes, the more people say, if I'm going to pay 90% in taxes, Eisenhower taxes, 92%, I might as well give to charities instead. I might as well invest in my business.
Tax write-offs.
I might as well
you're talking about write-offs. No. We're talking about getting rid of taxes. Not some sort of tax write-off scenario.
Of course. Well, that's
and here's the problem with studies is you can find a study to support whatever you want to support.
Yeah, I know that if I have more disposable income, that means more I can give away. That means more that I can give to the local independent homeless shelter, the local food pantry.
But you don't even need to give away all that much. When the problem is a lot of the people who are need charity right now and government subsidies and healthcare and things like that are not making as much as they would be making if you got rid of taxes because their incomes would double.
They're not. The poor don't pay taxes.
That's not true at all.
Yeah, they do. They pay sales tax.
They pay sales tax.
Property tax.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, most people don't own, so they don't pay property tax.
They pay the property tax through the rent, dude. What do you think's going on there?
They might not be directly paying the property tax, but they are paying the property tax
for the landlord.
Increased rent.
Yeah. If I didn't have to pay property tax, I could lower my rents as a landlord.
You're a landlord, and you're paying a property tax, and you're telling me that property tax is so huge that
it is significant.
Yeah, up here in Keene, New Hampshire, on a $200,000 house, it's $6,000 a year. We're talking about several $100s a month in property tax.
It is high.
Yeah, it's insane. Thank you, Chris, for the call tonight. But call us again sometime because I think it's an interesting discussion. We're right at the end of the show. And, of course, right at the end of the show is when everyone calls in.
Of course.
For whatever reason. Mike is on the line in Ohio. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Mike.
Hey. Real quick.
Whoa, hang on. I'm going to let our board op turn you down because you're just slamming the meters there, Mike. Or maybe back away from your phone or something because you're cranking it. We can't hear you.
Well,
we can hear you.
They complain at work that I have one of those voices that care.
Okay,
so.
We got you now. Go ahead.
Very good. When you're talking about minimum wage and the maximum wage, we had a maximum wage in this country from 1935 to 1980s. And what that does is it forces people making a $400 million bonus and then quitting their job. Like happened out in California with Blue Cross.
Can you say that again? We lost some packets from your cell phone. Say that one more time. What happens?
You don't have CEOs paying themselves $400 million bonuses in retiring. It happened out in California a couple years ago with Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's happened several times in the last 10 years here in Northeast Ohio to where the steel factories were having issues because China was dumping steel. The government did nothing to protect the markets. And then the steel factories shut down. But the CEOs and the top executives took tens of millions of dollars out of the companies with them, sold off the retirement plans to the federal government. The employees got 15 cents on the dollar for their retirements, which was part of their compensation agreement that you're talking about, which was violated by the company filing bankruptcy. So
that sounds like an
by
absolute mess.
having the
Mike, I wish we had more time for you, but we're out of it for tonight. But feel free to call another time. Out of time now. We'll see you tomorrow online. In the meantime, we're at freetalklive.com.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our